Idubbbz has made a new video, and it's about politics. You think he would have gotten his fill over the last few months, but he really wants to dip his toes into the sphere, and he has no idea what he's doing. He can't even adequately make fun of racists. Let's just get into it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode.
Let's go back and watch that again.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another.
What is that editing? What is he relearning how to do Movie Maker? Can't he not afford an editor anymore? He had to go back and do that himself. That stupid transition. Let's watch it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another
That
episode
sucks.
of Idubbbz Complains. I am coming to you live from Barcelona, Spain.
No, he's actually in Canada. He's hiding in his in Anissa's parents' house because they had to sell their house. They're broke bums, and it's sad. He can't even break 1 million views anymore. He has 6 million subscribers, real close to 7. He had 7 just last month, but it's been on a steady decline, and his video only gets 150,000 views in a single day. That's trash. Even looking at his account, look at this. Look at this. We're not watching that. His last video, 500,000, 2 million, 7 million, 500,000. Dude, what a drop off. You don't really see that often.
If you guys aren't familiar with Barcelona, I recommend you keep your eyes on them, because they're looking like a pretty hot team this year. Well, I know the season's coming to a close.
Bro, I don't care about soccer. You don't care about soccer. Can we just skip the bit?
But let's just say that some of my boys on the inside have told me that they have been taking steroids, which is going to improve their soccer performance.
Yeah, real cute. Real funny. Good joke. Good job.
Today's episode of Idubbbz Complains is all about immigration and xenophobia and racism and...
Okay, that's racism. Let's look at this picture right here. A black man, Nick Fuentes, a Mexican, and he married a Jew. Is this the council of racism now? Okay, I'll grant him that Nick Fuentes and Kanye, yes, they are traditionally racist, and particularly they espouse just the kind of racism that you can't do nowadays, white nationalism. But Trump here, he married a Jew. I mean, he loves black people. He pardoned a basketball player and convinced China to fly him back to the States. I don't know, man. He's not racist. It's just not a thing.
TikTok and the TikTokification of xenophobia. The interest in this topic was spurred on from a guy named Kurt Kaz. Now, this guy, Kurt Kaz, he is a travel vlogger. So you would think with all of the traveling around the world, that would really open your mind to different cultures, different ways of life, and how we're all just people trying to
Perhaps exposure is what influenced him to no longer appreciate other cultures.
live. But unfortunately, he's a great example of how you can travel the world, and as long as your mind is fucking closed, everything you see is just going to confirm your biases.
Well, I mean, yeah, a lot of things around the world are very similar. We all eat, drink, and shit all across the world, but it's a matter of culture, man. Like, I don't know, figure it out.
Look at this. Look at the fucking states of the city. This is Rome, guys.
Like the Casbah.
This looks like in Bangladesh or something. Look at this, guys.
What do you mean, or something? I would like to hear more, but you're just saying it looks like Bangladesh. Is that because there's people from Bangladesh here?
Idubbbz, you know you're being a pedant. You can't make that up. I mean, obviously the guy has a particular bent to his politics. You're going to bring it up in just 2 minutes. Why do you have to string me along with, can you just admit to being racist? Look, buddy, your wife hates Jews. I mean, you're in the same boat. You're the NF guy, okay? I mean, why do you have to capitulate and apologize for everything every single day? You can't just, how about you just turn this media off? If it's really offensive to you, don't watch it. This isn't for you, obviously.
Or are you just assuming where people are from? There's a lot of people with brown skin in the world.
Dude, it's obvious what he means. It wasn't actually he's saying they're Bangladeshi people. It's... Are you stupid? No, you know what he's saying, buddy. You don't have to be so pedantic about it. It's not necessary.
And they don't all come from Bangladesh. I don't know, do they have fresh fruit and vegetables in Bangladesh? I mean, that's one indication it might look like Bangladesh. I've seen this guy's videos, by the way. He goes to Bangladesh.
Okay, thank you. Right. Wow, it is madness.
Weird. There's kind of a striking resemblance. I wonder what it is.
He's gone to a random farmer's market where the population of immigrants is a bit higher than other places in the city.
Dude, you haven't... Look, have you ever been outside of the country? I mean, visit France, okay? I mean, you're being ignorant. You don't actually understand the demographics of the world right now. I mean, there's a good reason why there are so many foreign meat markets in all throughout Europe, everywhere. It's a very recent thing, you know?
City, and he's saying, yep, we're in fucking Bangladesh.
Look at the state of this place.
You mind telling us what the state is?
Look at the fucking state of the city. Look at the state of this place. Look at this, guys. Look at this.
But I don't know what the state is. I need you, the vlogger, to tell me what the state is.
Look at this, guys. This is Rome. This is Europe. Does this look like Europe to you?
Idubbbz, you know what the state is, okay? Can you just spit it out already and stop dragging it out?
Yes, it looks like Europe to me. What the fuck?
Okay. Yeah, this looks like Europe. I get you, man. Do you have any understanding for, I don't know, there used to be cultures there, and the cultures were created by demographics of people who are just different now. So when you go to a country, you expect, when I go to Japan, I expect to see a mainly demographic of Japanese, because that's the aesthetic that I'm going there for. If I could just go to Chinatown in my own little city, it's not the same.
Fuck else are we supposed to gather from this video? It's like this guy, this is so obnoxious. A lot of these guys that we're gonna look at, they have an idea in their head of what European culture is. Their idea of these things is like a caricature. It is like a postcard. It is not like what they're actually experiencing on a daily basis.
Yeah, that is true. A lot of people actually do have a stupid idea of what the West really is depicted as. I mean, the Western culture is not as much of a monoculture as many online racists like to say it is. But the reason for these caricatures is because those demographics used to be real back in the day, and you could make that kind of stereotype. There was a distinction of an Italian person. You can picture an Italian. He's got slick black hair. He's a little bit broad. He's got a nice chin. You know, there's ideas of what certain people in certain areas resemble.
What are these people doing on a regular basis? Selling and buying a bunch of produce in a market. And he's saying, this isn't Europe. I'm not seeing any white cheese vendors. This is nothing like Europe. This is nothing like Rome.
I don't see a single Italian here, guys. I am more Italian than any of these people. Look at this.
I don't see a single Italian here.
I don't see a single Italian here, guys. I am more Italian than any of these people.
Okay, dude. What the fuck are they? What the fuck are these people living in Italy? What is it?
How do you know they were born there? What if they're first generation migrants? What if they're just visiting tourists? Okay, everyone here is making assumptions. Idubbbz. He's assuming that these people are just not Italian. Let's be real, it's based off their skin color, okay? And you recognize this. But why would you look at a random picture that you don't even know if it's actually from Italy or really, and you're just going to claim that everyone here in this photo is Italian? This could be New York. That's what the demographics look like here.
What does an Italian look like? You don't see an Italian? What are they going to wear, a name tag?
Dude, an Italian, you know what an Italian looks like. I already explained it. I mean, they have a very specific appearance to them. They have for up to maybe 4,000 years, maybe longer. When you develop isolated in a region, you start mimicking the areas. No, that's not really true. People just develop differently through evolution. Understand? It's really that simple. And because these demographics were isolated in different regions of the world, they grew up differently. All right. That's why you can distinguish an Italian. He doesn't require a name tag. You can just look at him. Do you actually see any Italians' hair? I see a lot of black hair, but it's not straight, you know?
Yeah, my name's Riccardo, the Italian. Maybe instead of saying, I don't see any Italians here, you can fucking ask any of these people who are most certainly Italian. Ask them if they're Italian.
They're all Italian. This girl in the front looks like she's Ethiopian. Like, what are you talking about? This girl actually does look like a first-generation migrant. How would you know that everyone in that room is Italian? They're in a market in Italy. I bet you at least 10% of that room is tourists.
Italian. I might not look like Mario, but I'm Italian. I know, it's hard to believe.
I am more Italian than
Why
any
would
of
Mario have a specific appearance to him? Stout, big nose, black hair? Huh? There's a reason why the depiction of a stereotypical Indian, the first thing that comes to your mind is Chef Boyardee and Mario.
these people.
That's pretty funny, actually. To break it down, he is not actually Italian. He's South African, which is kind of silly. It's not really the same thing at all. Because his ancestors are Dutch, I believe. Probably if he's from South Africa. He's nowhere near Italian. He's just as Italian as everyone else in that room. Not at all.
By the way, guys, his clothing brand is called Conquest. He's a white South African making travel vlogs that are vaguely xenophobic. And his clothing brand is called Conquest. We gotta retire one of those things at least. I would recommend the xenophobic part, but you could also change the conquest part as well. You know, at least one.
Saying that the streets is dangerous.
No, sono pericolosi.
Perché?
Perché hanno I coltelli tutti quanti, I maceti. Con
Maceti?
Sì, loro.
Look at all these guys. Look at all the shits on the floor. And here they are, just loitering. Very dangerous, he's saying.
Se passo là io adesso, sono un centinaio.
It really honestly doesn't look like a fun place to be around. I don't want to be walking around those streets without a guide. I don't think you would either, Idubbbz. I'm sure you'd be scared of this going to this part of Italy.
Mi caricano, sicuro.
So this is the part of the video where they really up the levels of propaganda. They start you off softly implying by just showing you like, this isn't like the postcards of Europe that you see. You guys have heard of Rome in your history class. You never saw pictures like this. You saw beautiful things like the Colosseum, but now you have to see immigrants. And then you get to this guy who's like, all right.
That was extremely aggressive. I think that the way he said that, it sounds like a parody. I know he's actually not white supremacist by any means, but what was that delivery that was not convincing? You have to see immigrants now? That sounds like something I'd hear from Nick Fuentes as an ironic statement. I don't even understand this whole point about him being I don't know. The issue, really, if you were a real online racist, is, are Italians even white? Let's open that can of worms. First of all, you're going to say that he's worried about the skin color of people, and yet Italians aren't. You know, a lot of people would debate you that if they're even white. You know, a lot of people say that they're Mediterranean. They have a very specific olive skin tone to them. They look closer to like Jews, the Israelites, Middle Easterns, because they're Mediterranean. They live off the Mediterranean coast. They're not like Northern Europeans by any means. There's a big difference between a Swede and an Italian. All right.
Now that I've primed you, I'm going to tell you how dangerous this street is that's adjacent to the farmer's market. Never mind the fact that none of you have any idea what this market is, what this street is. He's just going to act like he's an authority on the matter and vaguely imply that it's an immigrant problem and not a poverty problem. By the way, when I was editing this, I found...
What? Why would it be a poverty problem? Are you assuming that all these immigrants are coming into the country poor and without anything to bring? Why would you want them there in the first place? I mean, is it a poverty issue that Italy was already poor before they brought in immigrants? Why'd they bring in immigrants into a struggling nation? It's not a matter of poverty. It is actually a matter of demographics. Perhaps they are poor too, but they brought their poverty with them. That's why places like Canada and America have very strict regulations on who can come in. You need to have an education, or at least a desire to get an education, or what is it, like $70,000 to start up a business? Like, the requirements of getting into the United States is extremely high because you don't want to have a burden once an immigrant comes into your nation. If he's Bangladeshi or Ethiopian or from anywhere and he has money, he can be accepted into any business. Anyone will respect him. He'll probably dress better. I don't know, man. It's really not just a poverty issue.
Found the rest of this clip. He ends up leaving the marketplace and they go to some random public area and harass some people who are just minding their own business, talking about how he's from Europe and he's more Italian than these people. I think he mentions Africa at one point.
We're in Italy. We're in Europe. We are not in Africa. Get away from me. Okay. This is my country.
That's pretty hard. It's not his country. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, Europe.
Wait, the real kicker about this is it's two Africans fighting each other about who the more European man is. Which is kind of retarded. Who's going to win? South African or... I don't know. This guy actually might be an islander.
Are you from Europe? I'm from Europe.
Oh no, Europe is being overrun. Someone save Europe. Now, these videos themselves are very bad, but when you go into the comment section, you realize how many people these bad ideas are attracting. Samantha says, import third world, get third world. Well, these are not imports. These are human beings. But if you're referring to...
Well, you already mentioned the poverty issue. What could that possibly mean when you import the third world, you get the third world? The issue is that they're bringing in their poverty. You know? And it's not just poverty either. It's how they handle their poverty is completely different than Western mentalities. Let's keep going.
You know, there being a farmer's market, that's kind of a first world thing. That's just called a regular market everywhere else. So yeah, you're wrong and you're also stupid. This is what the liberals want in America. Yeah, and they're getting it. They're
Wow, that's an extreme call to arms. This is what I mean. Nick Fuentes really could say this ironically. Yeah, and we're getting it. It's just... That's so extreme. It borders on absurdity. Like, are you actually going to be so called to arms about this when you've been spending months just getting shit on in politics? I mean, what is it that you want to see? You just want to see a bunch of brown people around you, in particular like Muslims? What about Jews? What, do you not want Jews in your ideal free, no borders country? Where are your lines with people and demographics? I mean, it sounds like you just don't like white people, Jews included. So, why don't you move out of Canada? I guess Canada's actually a good place for you. You should go to somewhere like, somewhere that has a lot of Indians.
getting their farmers markets and they're loving their farmers markets. Thank you for making this content and hopefully waking up the European people. Oh yeah, this is something that you're going to see a lot, is people just sort of, when it benefits them, they will invoke the continent of Europe, and when it doesn't benefit them, they'll be very specific and say, oh, this is a real problem in the UK. This is a real problem in Rome. Europe is finished.
You know, he actually has a bit of a point there. A lot of people do unify Europe as one large continent of white people. That's really not the case. It is a diverse demographic. You got everything from Slavs, Poles, Italians, the Spanish, They're all different kind of people, really. But I think that just makes it more profound how all of these different areas are having the exact same issue. You know? And you're talking about the issue here. You're saying you're winning when other people's issues are brought up. Are you really ready for that kind of heat, man? Like, you're kind of stepping into a huge territory. I don't understand how you're going to be so anti-Semitic and even more racist. I don't know, man. What's wrong with you? You really shouldn't have stepped into this conversation at all.
Rome has fallen again. Oh, man. Yeah, farmers markets will be the end of Rome. This is what America would be if Trump didn't put a stop to it. Yeah, and how's that working out?
Oh, my. That's so aggressive. I mean, if you're going to be an online racist, a lot of those people don't even like Trump. They don't support Trump because he's not pushing out immigrants fast enough. He's just adding more H-1B visas. I mean, if you just heard Nick Fuentes on Raw Talk a few weeks, I think it was like a week ago, he talked about how they're anti-Trump. The America First movement is an anti-Trump organization, and it has been probably since January 6th. You know? Man, Trump is really not involved in this equation. You really should just read more. Honestly. Before you step into politics, how about you start reading like CNN and Fox News? You know, basic sources. They're not even sources, basic outlets before you pretend like you have a grasp on anything. What would force you to want this to make this video? Did you walking around Canada see a bunch of Indians, overhear people complaining about it at the Tim Hortons and say, "Wow, these are all a bunch of racists"? It's not a worthwhile thing. You're putting your foot in your mouth for an extremely unnecessary reason. You're putting a lot of unneeded danger on you just for talking complete ignorance. Shut up.
Third world, become third world. I don't like. I just came back from Rome, and yes, it was bad. Scammers and graffiti everywhere.
To be fair, I think even ancient Rome had graffiti. Everywhere has graffiti. If you have teenagers, you have graffiti. What do you guys say about that, Idubbbz?
I'm not even Italian, and it
Nothing.
makes
Nothing.
me sad.
He doesn't have shit to say. Is he unaware of like the scratches on Pompeii that people still talk about? I mean, the kind of, I don't know, man.
Well, don't let your racism affect you too much. For all you know, the Italians are loving it. This looks like Toronto as well. Unfortunately, same in the UK, even worse. RIP Europe and UK. They're ruining Canada and the UK right now. Oh my god,
True.
We finally found a sensible comment. Every city, state, country has its international sections, i.e. Chinatown, Japantown, Little Armenia, etc. There's nothing wrong with diversity. You happen to be in an international flea market. This is Rome is a false statement. It's just a block, not the state of the city. Okay, shout out Jack, the man. You just brought the heat. They turn every place.
Why'd you censor out his image if you were just going to bring it up? But even so, that's not necessary. I mean, why do you have to have these international markets in places? And they're for a specific demographic of people. I mean, anyone can go in there and get some interesting foods that you hadn't had before. I'm not going to lie, diverse foods, they're good and all. But it's not like that's Turkey by any means. Why is Rome an international hub? It's not like there's an obvious large demographic of people. It's not like it's Spain, where there already was Moorish Muslims for thousands of years. Okay? These are new people coming in and bringing in their own culture. And as you brought up, their own poverty.
Place they go into the place that they left. I think some people have a selfish mindset in thinking that because they themselves wouldn't leave the country that they were born in or have become accustomed to, that other people wouldn't do that. And if they are doing that, they're doing it for like sinister reasons. It's just like a basic human thought to be like, I want to bring some of my culture into the
When I think about immigration, it's kind of a blank subject because anyone can immigrate to anywhere. Ultimately, if you have enough income or if your country is just getting bombed enough, I guess. Why do you always depict them as brown people? Impoverished brown people. You know, like Americans can immigrate to Japan or the UK. It's not an isolated thing that is only accessible to brown people. Maybe you have a wrong image in your head what immigrant means. What that just means is someone from one country moving to another, okay? And that's an expensive and painful process. It's not easy to travel from city to city, let alone across the world. I guess they're all just brown and impoverished, though. Thanks, Idubbbz. Real insightful.
place that I'm traveling to that I'm now going to start my new life in. And of course, it's going to be these places that are desirable to go to and that are very multicultural. There's a reason why people are referencing Canada and the UK. It's because people who are immigrating to these countries like these countries. They like that their culture is either already kind of established there.
No, it's because immigration to those areas are easy. Especially if we're going to talk about like Indians going to the UK, or Pakistanis rather, there's a very easy pipeline. And Indians going to Canada, there's an easy pipeline. It's just an upgrade by default. I mean, if you're going to be a low caste street sweeper in India, anywhere in the world is better. Honestly. Like, throw a dart on a map. You can go to China and be a happy camper. It's not that they just particularly love Canada. These aren't like Canadophiles going in there and holding up their Leaf flag in a Tim Hortons. Actually, they might be. But it's not about that. It's just about improving themselves. I get it, you know. It's tough being a low-caste Indian street sweeper. But why do you need that kind of person coming into Canada? That's unnecessary. I mean, at least have the Brahmin class who has income, you know? Someone with money should be moving from country to country because it takes money. It's a hard thing to do. Yet we're going to be letting in these poor, low-class people. And that's what it is, really. It's just furthering the class divide by allowing these poor people to come in to work for cheap. And that's the ultimate issue. There's a word for that. It's called you know? If you actually were to think about this, it's not a good thing.
And there are foods and routines and places to go and people to meet that are going to allow them to integrate better into the society. Okay, we got another comment. It says, the world is getting pretty racist. And this person responds with, you can't go into a new country and overtake it like this. You assimilate into their culture. They're also ruining property. So in no way is it racist. It's a pattern. After watching that video, a little while later, I started getting more content that was adjacent to that. This time in the form of Robin bagpipes.
I am proud of European culture. I will not show embarrassment around European culture, and I will continue to spread European culture.
You might be taking a lot of credit here by saying that you're spreading European culture. You'll notice that a lot of people going into the UK and a lot of Mexicans going into the US, they're not doing this shit. They're literally just living their lives, and I think a lot of people like...
What are you talking about? When the roofers were fixing our property just a few months ago, they were blasting Spanish music at the top of the roof. No, it's exactly what everyone does. What he's doing is a reactionary response to what people see all the time back in their own country. I mean, just people do this kind of thing. They blast their hereditary music in fucking annoying places. Now, is this obnoxious? Yes, it is disrespectful and obnoxious, but it's an obvious statement that comes from a point, you know? This isn't coming out of nowhere. I mean, have you ever ridden a public bus? I know you're just recently poor, but go around and listen to your fellow bus goers who probably are going to be Punjabi, and they're going to be listening to ring-a-ding, 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 boop, bop, bop, bop. You'll find it, man. It's a real fucking thing out there.
Robin bagpipes, perhaps, see, I don't know, Muslim people wearing hijabs or Indian culture being expressed or any of these like foreign cultures and religion.
I don't think it's a good idea to bring up Trudeau in that sentence because the guy wears blackface, dude. I mean, he kind of goes a little bit extreme in his cultural appreciation. It's not appropriation, it's cultural appreciation.
Just traditions, and they think to themselves, oh, this is performative. This would be like me dressing up in my full Scottish regalia and marching down the streets playing my bagpipe in India. It's like,
no, he's doing a performance as a response to real things. It's a comedic bit. It's not that complicated. You're just too ignorant to actually know what's going on here. Fucking, seriously, ride a public transit and you'll know, dude. It's really not that complicated.
that's not what it is at all. The immigrants going to your country of Scotland or wherever else, they're literally just trying to live. And you,
I don't know, you were showing a bunch of people in a performative drab wearing, not burqas, I think they were niqabs. I mean, that's their own performance. And if this guy just wants to go and express himself and wear his gay kilt out in public in India, more power to him, I guess. I mean, what ultimately is the difference between this performance and a Muslim draped down in New York State?
Interpreting their culture as like this exuberant display or them bringing the third world to your country is just ignorant. He says, I brought cultural enrichment back to European markets. I love this British market.
You don't have to pretend to be anyone.
He is performing for the...
That's pretty funny. Those comments were pretty good. It is purely obnoxious, though. I'm surprised this guy didn't get stabbed.
These Indian people, it's very interesting to them. And instead of owning the fact that this is a great way to spread your culture and also get views online, he's deciding to bring this sort of disgusting xenophobic element to all of his content.
If you hate your own country so much that you want this to replace it, that there's something seriously wrong with you, follow me around the world if you want to spread European culture.
Because I think it's like it caught my attention, and I'm sure it caught a lot of people's attention because of the contrast.
Well, I mean, you showed a video of the of the wet market in Italy. I don't know, man. It's a real sentiment people believe nowadays. It's not a matter of ignorance. You just haven't stepped outside of your country ever. I guess you did. You went to Canada out of being forced and driven out of your home from poverty. So I completely understand it. You know, it's actually starting to make a lot of sense. Idubbbz is an impoverished immigrant, and that's why he feels so connected to these people. He is just like that black and Bangladeshi.
You don't often see the little ginger kid in India playing his bagpipes.
My baby don't mess around.
They hate it, and I absolutely love it. Well, you don't know what they hate.
God damn it. Why are you going to be shitting on random shitters in the comments? Idubbbz, you shouldn't fucking read the comments. That's disgusting. I mean, how many comments do you have in this video? 7,000? I bet you've read the whole list, haven't you? That's absurd, dude. It's not productive. Read a fucking book. Don't read YouTube comments. That's retarded.
It seems like they're very much interested in it. I mean, if you love it so much, then you might want to take up bagpiping culture because obviously it's being, overrun by immigrants. He's fighting for his culture. No. You think this guy's wearing this shit every day? He's putting on a show for you. That's what he's doing. He's not fighting for shit. His culture is probably wearing some blue jeans and eating a cheeky Nando's. That's probably his culture. And, I don't blame him for it, right? That's closer to my culture. I brought cultural enrichment back to European markets. And you have people genuinely confused saying, is this really somewhere in Europe? They don't know.
Why wouldn't they, Idubbbz? What would draw people to think that that's actually what Europe looks like nowadays? Is there something that's happening with the demographic shift over there? I don't know.
No. So it's a double whammy. You can say that this is what Europe looks like, but then simultaneously you're not in fucking Europe. So you're fear-mongering, but you're actually also just lying to people. But you can say, oh, I'm not lying, I'm just being satirical. But is it really that satirical? It's not. What are you satirizing? The fact that immigrants exist in your country? Or is it the...
No, dude. It is straight satire. The only way you wouldn't know that it's satire is if you've only isolated yourself in your house for the last 10 years. You really need to go outside, man. You live in Canada. I don't know. If you're in Toronto, one of the commenters made a pretty precise comment. It looks like Toronto. Just walk around fucking Toronto and figure it out.
The fact that too many immigrants exist in your...
What am I saying? Actually, you agreed to this earlier, that yes, the left wants this for America, and they're getting that way. So you're going to lie to me? You're going to say that, oh, these immigrants are not coming in, they're not replacing you, and then say it's a good thing? You have no idea what you're saying at any given time. Please, don't say anything. This is unnecessary. You're putting a big fucking arrow on your back for no reason.
Country? Or is it the fact that a specific type of immigrant exists in your country? Because you need to be a lot less...
I know you feel in connection with all these poor immigrants, being yourself a poor immigrant to Canada. But the issue is allowing impoverished people to cross your border, really. It's not just about brown people. It's not even about like ethnic divides. It's about income, you know? And these countries were poor to begin with. Euro poor is a classic joke. And then we're going to, well, bring in the third world as you described. What do you think will happen with that? It's not like you're bringing in billionaires into a region and then spiking up your economy. These places largely have NHS programs, and they're just being more drained on by the new demographics coming in who don't have the same appreciations for their culture.
Generally racist to be able to pull off satire. White race, heart, heart, heart emoji. Do this more, please. Show the world what white culture is.
Damn, I'm on my Britney.
That is retarded, honestly. I hate the idea of white culture. Let's watch this real quick.
Shit. Oops, I hit again.
Kinda, yeah. That is kind of white culture. Idubbbz did hit the nail on the head. There really isn't a unified white culture. Western ideologies, I guess they come from a very short list of philosophers and politicians. Our political style comes from Rome, after all. But it's not, I don't know, Western culture is not as unified as what a lot of online racists like to portray it as. And the only reason for the unification is because of the onset that they feel like they're being taken over by other demographics. It's reactionary culture. That's what it is.
He's also doing this disgusting AI content where it says Indian jumps into dirty water.
Some of the Indian stereotypes really are true.
It is AI, guys.
Hell
Chill.
yeah,
And then
hell
you
yeah.
read-
Let's go back. No
It is
fucking
AI,
way.
guys.
I could actually believe that's not AI. He just got very lucky there. That's an absurd clip. I love that. Let's watch it again.
Water.
Some of the Indian stereotypes really are true.
He just fucking
It
dives
is
in.
AI, guys.
Hell yeah.
Chill. And then you read the description and it says, I love Indians, some of the friendliest, funniest, warmest people I met on my travels. Then you go to the comments and he likes the comment saying it's not AI. It is so cowardly, right? Because it is, one, not acknowledging that there is already so much racism towards Indians on the internet and in the country.
Well, yeah. I wonder why, dude. Do you know that India has just recently gotten internet connections and has allowed them to broadcast to the rest of the world? I mean, even low-class Indians now can afford phones and phone services. And that's probably, perhaps you wouldn't have any impression about another race if you were never exposed to them. They kept to their own on the other side of the world, and you only heard whispers and faint legends and stories you read. Perhaps then you wouldn't ever have any impression on what that person may be like in real life. But they're on the internet now, and we have to deal with at least a billion of them. I don't know how many more billions are going to be coming. What is there? I don't know what the population of India is, but not all of India has an internet connection that's stable right now. We're only going to get more of them on the internet, and I think that's going to, that the consequence of that is going to be more internet racism towards Indians. Perhaps Mudahar should watch out.
Country that you're coming from. It is perpetuating so many negative, awful stereotypes. And then you're using AI to fabricate something that didn't fucking happen, but many people will
Dude, I've seen videos where that shit happens, okay? It's real. He wasn't AI generating bullshit.
interpret is real. And then you go to his page and you realize all of his videos are basically about tearing down and shitting on Indian culture. And not really even propping up Scottish culture. It's more about saying that Scottish culture is European culture. Very bizarre.
I am proud of European culture. I will not show embarrassment for European culture.
That is kind of weird, not gonna lie. He should specify more about his distinct ethnicity. I mean, he's obviously Scottish or maybe Irish, I don't know. But he shouldn't just be propping up in Europe as a unified concept. It's not really the case. But I guess Europeans do have a little bit more in common with each other, all the way from Spain to Poland, than they would with a Bangladeshi or an Indian, you know? It's just because the new people who they are exposed to are just so radically different that it starts shedding the subtle differences that other white races have with each other. You know, when you have like raping Moorish hordes at your border, you're not going to be worried too much about the Portuguese as a Spanish man. It's just how it is.
We've heard from a South African, and we've heard from a Scottish. Now we're going to hear from a Canadian. I'm talking Mr. Nelk.
This might be very controversial. Actually, I can't say it. This is the way I'll say it. Tim Hortons, if I walk into a shawarma restaurant, I don't want to see a white person serving me.
True. Actually true.
Does that make sense? Yeah, 100%. If I walk into a shawarma restaurant and I see a white person serving me, I don't want it. So you can figure out the other side. If I see a white person in there, I'm fucking out. And Tim Hortons, you can figure out the other side.
Well, okay, so Tim Hortons is a shit chain. That's what, like, fast food cafe? It's kind of a bad example. I mean, if you're going to be at, like, a Burger King or a McDonald's, it doesn't matter who's flipping your burgers at the end of the day. It could be Indian. It could be an American. It's probably still going to be a shit product. So Tim Hortons is not a good example for this. I don't know if there are any... I don't know what stereotypical Canadian cafes there are. I'm sure there's a better option than this.
Listen, Mr. Jelk, it is still racist when you're using white people as the example for you to make the racist statement. I want white people to be cooking their white people food and brown people to be cooking their brown people food. That's weird. We don't like...
I don't think that's too weird, honestly. It makes sense. I mean, a lot of times if you're going to be getting Mexican food, do you think it's going to be made better at like a home-style restaurant by a Mexican or an American? It's not an overly complicated concept. I mean, one of these groups of people ate that shit their whole life and understands the structure of the food and the culture behind it. All right? And you're going to like disregard their lived experience? Dude, I mean, of course you're going to want to go to a shawarma place that's owned by a Turkish person. It just makes sense. I mean, in my city, when I see like an Afghani restaurant, what do I expect is who do I expect is gonna be behind the counter? Are they gonna be Bangladeshi? No, it will probably be just as shit as an experience as if they were white.
That, all right? By the way, it's Tim Hortons, not Hortons.
Tim Hortons?
What the hell is that?
If I walk into a shawarma...
I think that's just proper Canadian slur, dude. I'm sorry that you're an immigrant who doesn't understand the culture, but Canadians are retarded and they can't pronounce anything correctly. So you're in the wrong, dude. You fucking racist.
Restaurant and I see a white person serving me, I don't want it. So you can figure out the other side.
This is the type of rhetoric you hear from conservative dads and grandfathers. Let's put it this way. Do I want a white guy making my Kung Pao chicken? No.
No.
Hell no, right? That's me saying fuck you to the white guy. You know, it's not about race. You know, I don't want white people cooking, I don't know, tamales. You think if I go to Japan, they're just gonna welcome me into the #1 sushi restaurant in the world? Probably not. Probably not. And would you say that they're racist because of that? Probably not.
Okay, well you got it all backwards, dude. I mean, everyone, you were exhibiting racism during this entire video. Your wife is anti-Semitic of all things. I mean, dude, can you just open up your eyes and see that everyone's racist? Yes, you're right. It's a boomerism to be like, I'm not a racist. Everyone has this opinion or something like that. But that's, I think the real matter that you're missing out on is that racism is normal. I mean, that's why you have to be taught not to be racist starting at an early age, because people have these natural fears and impressions on them. Yeah, it's not always true, and you can be taught out of that default position. But I don't know why you're like saying this is a boomerism. It makes sense. It just utterly makes sense that a specific people from another culture are going to make that culture's food better. Why do you have to debate that so hard? Are you just really pissed about your father that much? I'm sorry that your dad yelled at you, dude. Not everything has to be an absurd boomerism out there.
Probably not.
It's like if you walk into an Italian restaurant, you want Italian serving you.
I am more Italian than any of these people.
Dude, back in the
That's pretty funny. That's a good edit, actually. Strong. Killed him. We actually should have South Africans in the Italian restaurant. I bet you that would be killer.
day, when I used to go to Tim Hortons every fucking day,
Alexa,
I would get a bagel and...
How does he... This guy's pretty well... He's got decent body. He doesn't have too much fat deposits. How the fuck did he go to Tim Hortons every single day? Does this girl actually believe him? Look at that questioning eyes. You went to Tim Hortons every day? What are you, a gross brokey? When was this? Before you had your money? Can you not tell me that disgusting shit?
cream cheese with everything, and they'd put the cream cheese on both sides. Now what they do is they take the scooper and they fucking put it on one side and they fucking clap it like this.
Dude, it's a fast food restaurant. Whoa, they made fast food restaurants are dropping in quality. I don't actually think that's brown people, dude. Come on. What do you got to say about this, Idubbbz?
Bullshit.
You're describing this generally low-skilled job as like some high cuisine. If someone fucks up...
Okay. Why'd you mention it was a low-skilled job? Why are you capitulating that it's these Indians are coming in? I guess that he never specified, but that's what it is, obviously. Why did you say that these Indians are coming into Canada to take low-skilled jobs? Like, these are teenagers' jobs. That should be your first job coming out of high school. And it's being stolen by an immigrant who has nothing else to provide for the country. That's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. You're literally just stealing opportunity from your own people and giving it to a broke... I don't want to say that.
Up half of your Tim Hortons order, it's still Tim Hortons.
What does chat think? My Canadians, back me up.
Unfortunately, for everyone who backed him up in chat, you are, I regret to inform you, racist.
It's done. It's gone downhill. And
Everyone's racist. Your wife's racist. You were racist during this entire thing. You keep talking about these immigrants as being impoverished, dude. Like, come on. Can you just... why can't you... There's a strong difference between being racist and being hateful. Racism is like... It's just a prejudice, dude. It's prejudging something. And you have prejudice for everything around your life. I'm sure that you're not like a goldfish who forgets every single action. Your life isn't memento, all right? The only people who aren't prejudiced are like the Alzheimer's patients who forget that their black caretaker pokes them with a fork and then stuffs food down their mouth, you know? So come on, man.
I want to rep Canada and I want to rep Tim Hortons, but like I don't really rep Tim Hortons like that no more.
We do not care, Dr. Jelk. You can take that repackaged boomer racism somewhere else because we're not buying.
Dude, boomers are the least racist. American boomers are not racist, okay? They're super anti-racist. Obviously, that's what their entire culture was about for the last 40 years, man. Why do you have to say that old people are just racist in America? And it's not, and that boomerism isn't even racist, okay? You're just wrong about this entirely.
This guy's my fucking age. Bagpipes seems a little bit younger, which is even a little bit more troubling. And then the Conquest guy, they're my age, and I fucking look at them and I'm like, you fuckers are traveling to different countries. You need to be the change. You can be a bro and not be racist. You can make a beer company and not be racist. It's totally possible. In closing, I want to speak to all of the...
I can't believe it's closing already. I don't think he ever made a point. He was just showing me, he showed what, 3 videos and about 10 minutes worth of comments? This is not a fucking YouTube video. You didn't have anything to say here. Is this scripted or is this off the cuff? I really hope it wasn't scripted because that fucking sucked. And stop holding your mic. Get a mic stand. What's wrong with you? Why are you so poor? And why are you showing me all your shit wires in the wall? Your basement living conditions are so sad and pathetic. I can't believe you had to sell your house and you're going to come out here and start complaining about poverty while you, an impoverished immigrant, flee to Canada for hope of a better life underneath your girlfriend? That's disgusting, dude. Come on, man. What are you doing?
People who buy into this rhetoric, there's nothing to fear. You know, people in other countries are just humans living their lives, trying to exist. And when they go to your country, they're also just trying to exist. And it's not a fight. It's not a war for whose culture is going to win out. It's going to be a mixture of cultures. You're going to have to deal with the fact.
Integration is not having pockets of cultures around, okay? When an immigrant is supposed to get the idea of assimilating into the culture that they are going into, the idea is that God damn, this tattoo is really bad. What is this? That's really distracting. I gotta take that off the screen. But when a culture... whatever, man.
That a mosque was erected in your city. Oh no, well guess what? You don't have to go to the mosque. It's not a crime for it to be in your line of sight. Before I go, I want to bring your guys...
All right, good. That's out of my sight. When a culture is pocketed, isolated in another culture, that is not integration. That's not assimilating into the dominant culture. That is just creating Chinatown, okay? And how is Chinatown considered appropriate integration? It's not, man. So what do you want? You just want these immigrants to isolate themselves in there's tiny little pockets away from you where they have their own little city and civilization? That's disgusting. That's not even liberal. You weren't ready for having this conversation because you don't understand the talking points of what you want, okay? And you're kind of going with a boomerism yourself, saying that this integration, where we can all love each other in our own separate groups. I don't think you understand what you're even saying, man. It's very ignorant. Honestly, this entire thing has been just profoundly ignorant.
Attention to some lawsuits that recently dropped. Frogan, Denims, and Casey Tron have all been sued.
Let's go back and look at that number.
Frogan.
I just want to make a note right here. Frogan's is at $35,000 since the making of this video. 150,000 people have watched this video. Let's look at Frogan's defense. Shit. Let's go back up. Oh, dude. This video has made him $500. This dumb fat bitch can't even squeeze $500 out of Idubbbz. And it even gets worse than that. Look at this. Idubbbz was 420 of those dollars. So really, it's about like 80, 85 bucks he squeezed out of his audience for this bitch. That sucks, man. Idubbbz has no sway at all.
Denims and Casey Tron have all been sued, and they are trying to fight this off. I really believe in their cases, and I think it's important to either set a precedent or send
You only have a minute. What are you going to tell me? What do you believe? What do you believe about their case? Do you believe that it's okay to steal someone else's content, to tell people to watch you instead of the original creator, to live react to it as it happens in order to steal viewers from the original creator, and then to not even react, to sit there and get high or just dumbfounded watch the video with no reaction? Do you want a precedent set for that? Come on, man. Really think about the consequences of these people losing their lawsuit. That if they lost their lawsuit, I would just chair react every single one of your videos in perpetuity. What, are you going to sue me? That's the president, dude. You can just play someone else's video. It's not even like the Sargon of Akkad thing where it was, he at least had a different thumbnail. The purpose of the editing was to give contrast. You know, it was completely stolen clips, but there was still not derivative. There was a transformative meaning behind his choices and how he made that video. Can you really say the same for fucking Frogan and Casey Tron? I don't think so. But I guess it really doesn't matter anyways, because you only gave them like $400. Your community could only scrape together $80. 150 people could only scrape from the bottom of their wallets 80 measly fucking dollars to give to that fat bitch. So it really doesn't matter anyways. She only has $35,000. It's not even going to make it through Discovery, dude. Get fucked.
Message that just because you're fucking rich and powerful doesn't mean that you can bully people on the internet, doesn't mean you can bully women, minorities, or fucking people who are poorer than you. And I think it would be good if they can continue to fight this off. So I'm gonna put the links to their GoFundMe's down below.
That's stupid. You can punch down whenever you want. It doesn't matter about income if someone's just wrong. It's really that simple.
All right, everyone, that is going to do it for this episode of Idubbbz Complains. I will see you next time when I swing the candelabra.
How many 18 to 25-year-old farm-raised Amish dudes would it take fighting together on the same team to bring down one of those great big, huge, biggest of the big, muscled up...
Hola, Idubbbz. Bienvenidos de nuevo a Idubbbz se queja. Idubbbz se queja.
That was fucking ass. Idubbbz is completely incompetent. He should never talk about politics again. Please just stop, man. You don't need to be making these self-degrading videos all the time. I don't know if it was the CTE or the SSRIs, but some 3-letter something or other. Maybe it's the CIA. They've gotten to you, brother. You're just brain mush. You should just give it up, okay? Apply for Social Security benefits in Canada and go work at a Tim Hortons, all right? If you really want to have the broke immigrant experience, destroying the new culture, you're going to come in with a sickness LA mindset and infect all of your coworkers. Go right ahead, dude. I'm sure. Just have fun being a broke immigrant.